Hey guys, in this video, I'm gonna go over how to overcome the am I gonna have two bills objection. Typically this happens when you go into a home and, for example, I had a customer who had 30,000 kilowatts of power that they consumed on a yearly basis, and there wasn't enough room to fit that amount of power. We could only fit an 8.2 kilowatt system. And so what basically I had to do, right, a lot of times we get into that scenario where, the customer is going to be like, well, am I going to have two bills? Because if there's only room for 12,000 kilowatts on the roof, then that means that's not going to be 100% offset, right? So we get tempted to say, oh, hey, it's going to be 40% offset, or it's going to be 50% offset, or half your power is going to come from solar, or half is going to come from the power company, which, it may work sometimes. But I try to kind of step back a little bit and assess the overall situation. Let them know, hey, we always do the gas station example. If you're driving down the street, you see there's a $1.50 gas station on the right, and then there's a $3 per gallon gas station on the left. Which one are you going to buy your gas from? And it's a simple answer. They're always going to pick the one on the one that's the $3 one. And so it's the same thing with solar. Every kilowatt that they purchase from solar is going to be cheaper than their power company. It's just simple, math. And so what I try to do is I try to explain to them, okay, first off, we can only put 12,000 kilowatts on your roof based on the size of your home. And I know that there's obviously, different panels out there that'll output more. But at the end of the day, when you come into a situation where somebody consumes 30,000 kilowatts and you can at most deliver 12,000, what do you do then? Okay, because like I said, the hardest objection to overcome is, am I going to have two bills? Because that's the one thing that people do not want. And it's not so much that the answer is yes, you are going to have two bills. It's, hey, you're buying 12,000 kilowatts a year from solar. It's going to be cheaper than if you stay and buy all 30 of them from your power company. So the first thing I do is I look at the total average cost for the year, which is here it's $1,490. So it's almost $1,500 a year. If we divide that by 12, we're around $125, which is their average bill. Okay. So then what I do is I take this amount of power. Again, we're looking at 12,000 kilowatts. I take this amount of power and I multiply that by 12 months. And then I will spread it over 25 years. You can do this on an Excel spreadsheet. It's super easy. And it'll crunch out, based on this model, how much this amount of power will cost over 25 years. And here we have that answer. So if we take 12,000 kilowatts and we spread it over 25 years, they're going to pay 61 grand. Okay, just let that sink in for a little bit. That's only 12,000. That's not even 30. So if we were to do this same formula for 30,000 kilowatts, this number is going to be a lot higher. But the reason why I don't want to pitch that number is because I simply want them to understand that there's a cost difference between 12,000 kilowatts of power from the power company and 12,000 kilowatts of power from solar. Okay, so then the next step is say, okay, look, we're gonna do an 8.2 kilowatt system. We're gonna put it up on your roof. It's gonna get installed. Your loan amount is $31,160. Okay, so then you just option close them. Hey, Mr. Customer, do you want to buy 12,000 kilowatts of power from the power company, pay 61 grand, or would you rather get that same amount of power for 31? Okay, it's that simple. There's gonna be rebuttals. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be like, oh, it's just not worth it for me. That's a very common one in solar, especially when you're pitching them, hey, we're going to do 20 to 30% of your savings. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not worth it. Well, it's not worth it to them because they don't see the long-term consequences of their decision, right? The decision that they're making of buying power, that's the decision they've already made. They've made it every single day, and they're going to continue to make that decision. So it's like selling them insurance. Like, hey, if I can get you insurance, the same amount of insurance with the same benefits for half the cost, you're probably going to do it, right? Yes. Okay. So there you go.